had the time of my life, and I've never felt this way before. Internet, it's the truth, and I owe it all to you, to Internet. What's up, Internet? Happy Wednesday out there. It is May 24th. And once again, my stupid audio readout doesn't say whether or not audio is registering. So maybe somebody will pop on and let us know if the audio works or not, which happened yesterday. Speaking of yesterday, some of the things we were talking about, total nonsense. But I forget the name of the guy, but Shibukabumi, whatever his name is, Shibumi, maybe his name's Shibumi, is apparently relocating to Washington to go full-time on video editing for Corey, and that is awesome. I think I sounded kind of a little tired yesterday and that I was like a little taken aback, but that is awesome. It's unbelievable how cool that is, really. And I just wanted to say that. I thought that was awesome. Dude's moving across the country to go do fish tank stuff. Matthew Waybright, first chat of the night. What's up? It is Wednesday. And I was just talking about the Shibukiluki. I don't know the guy's name. Was moving across country to go work for Corey doing full-time video editing, and that is awesome. And how I'm stoked to see what's going to come out of that, because apparently they've been working across country, probably doing a FTP action, and I've done that before, and that totally limits any kind of creativity. So actually, I'm looking forward to seeing how cool that's going to be, to actually them collaborating like in the same zone. But anyhow. So we got a couple of things that we're going to be doing today. We're going to probably get interrupted in the live stream. We have a pizza coming. It's 9:09 Pacific time, and we haven't had dinner yet, so we ended up ordering pizza. Moved a bunch of stuff around in the fish room. Victoria was ever so graciously helped me out tonight. The meeting I was going to go to ended up not going to it because we had a little bit of family stuff going on that we needed to sort out before so I couldn't go. We had to get that done before, and then it was just too late to drive all the way up to Kingdom Come. Is that right? Cucamonga. Shout out to Rancho Cucamonga, California. Chris Dory. What's up, man? Thanks for coming out tonight. Some of the things we got tonight, we have an unboxing that we are going to get to. One crispy aquascapes, and I got to move these wacky scissors out of the way because I do have a blade at the ready for this. We will be doing an unboxing tonight, and we'll also be talking about how everyone's been kind of waiting on my water test. We finally went through another water test today, and we're gonna probably hit on that first. Well, we'll hit on that first after I get done talking about what we moved around. I didn't shoot any video of us moving stuff around because it literally was just us moving stuff around. We had to reorganize. It's too hot for hats. I'm going to go weird hair and Peyton Manning forehead. I got that. Looks like I've been throwing a football in Super Bowl. But we were literally just moving stuff around, so it seemed kind of an antithetical, boring video, realistically. If we ended up shooting that, it was going to be super boring video. It's just literally us shuffling stuff all around. But everything is, let's just say, we moved out. The 110 is out of there. The new 180 is actually in place where it's going to go. I'm going to finish very soon the video for making the new stand for the old 180 that will be the reef tank. And then I have to finish wrapping the stand of the old 240 that used to be the shrimp tank, and then I'll start adding substrate into it as soon as that is done. I realized I was missing a plumbing part because one of my plumbing parts during the move got annihilated by yours truly cutting it in half with a Sawzall, like a hero, probably because I didn't have enough time to just take it apart like a regular human. I went crazy and cut it in half. So ordered up some new parts. I used to bulk order my bulkheads and stuff like that, which is the bulkhead. One of the bulkheads is screwed up, and I just don't happen to have one of the same size. It's a kind of offset 1.5 inch one. I have 1 inch ones, I have 3/4 inch ones, I have 2 inch ones, but for whatever reason, didn't have any 1.5s. And to be brutally honest with you, I priced out bulkheads today at the hardware store. Where was I at? I was at McClendon's. And for the price of 4 of them, theirs was more for 1. And it was threaded and not slip. I wanted slip, and they're just like, we don't have that. Sorry, brah. But the ones I ordered off of Amazon, I'm going to get 4 for less than what it cost for one of them at McClendon. So I feel like waiting a day or two, I believe they get here Friday morning. So waiting a day or two, I think, is much better savings for or value for the money. Because the money was going to get spent. Some of that money was going to get spent, and so it was worth it to just go with the Amazon and wait a couple days. Tai Hang. What up, man? Tai Hang always shows up for the live stream. It's dope. I don't know what time it is where he is, but it seems like when I live stream, it's like the perfect time. Like maybe he just got off work or something. It's perfect. But I got those bulkheads coming, so I'll be shooting the plumbing video as soon as I get the plumbing for the 240 rolling, which with any luck might be Friday. But don't hold me to it because schedules may vary, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to see what's going on. We're sort of in limbo right now if we're going to go out of town for the weekend. I believe we are... Well, here comes the dog. I'm not really sure. Oh. Vicky's upstairs moving stuff around, and she thinks there are monsters up there. Well, she's a good dog. She is a good dog, though. We're sort of in limbo right now if we're going to go out of town for Memorial Day weekend. So we're going to... So I can't really say if I'm going to be doing any videos over this weekend. The plan was no videos this weekend. If we're out of town, there just ain't nothing I can do about it. I just can't make any videos. I guess I could maybe make a video ahead of time and then have them delayed upload later, but that just seems like a lot of weird work to just do that. Because I figure if I make a video, I'm just going to upload it, right? Chris Dory, 12:15, so it's medium noche in Ohio. He must be like right on the cusp of the Eastern time zone there in Ohio. I know that when we were in Kentucky, whenever we drove back and forth, we were going from what is it? So Pacific, Mountain, Central. So we were going from Central to Eastern time, depending on which side of Kentucky we were in, and that is confusing. It seems like a state should just have one time zone if it's a state, like just make it go around. I don't understand why it would go through the middle, but I guess that's some East Coast stuff right there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not really... Stream of consciousness just dropped off a cliff talking about time zones. Sorry about that. So I'm not sure if we're going to be doing videos this weekend. If we end up doing just a 1-day trip or a 2-day trip instead of the whole entire weekend, I'll be glad to shoot video of whatever I get done if I am in town. The reef salt is coming in on Friday also. So once the reef salt is here, that means it's time to make roadie water. And hopefully with just a little bit of luck, I might end up making roadie water into the ICB container that's outside. and be able to set it on a really long timer. Because if that thing dumps 50 gallons every 8 hours, you can do the pretty easy math where I need it to run for about... Because I need about 260 gallons, right around in there, to get everything flooded properly to get the reef set up. So I could probably just set up a long timer and get pretty close to where that thing would be nearing full of roadie, which means I probably will have to change the filters if I run it for that long and that much. I would definitely have to back flush the DI if I run it for that long. But either way, I would have to do that anyhow. But once the salt gets here, that means it's time to get the reef going. As soon as the salt gets here, as soon as water gets mixed and that tank is plumbed up, plumbing that tank is going to be much easier. The old 180 is pretty much primed to plumb. I'm just going to have to glue some ABS back together. The only problem right now is getting the stand done. But all of that moving around that we did today is going to have me primed and ready to finish assembling the stand and doing some cuts, doing some lamba, doing some building with wood. A little while ago, somebody was asking me, it seems like I know how to do a little bit of everything. Yeah, I pretty much know how to do a little bit of everything. I like doing concrete. It's super fun. I wouldn't want to do it as a career, though. I like doing the fun parts of concrete. I like... fixing things and making drains and making countertops and that kind of stuff. I love doing plumbing. I didn't enjoy being a full-time plumber every single day of the week and going to doo-doo problems. So I would like to probably be a rough-in plumber that's just working on new places. But that is few and far between, and all the guys that do that have been doing it for 30 years. So good luck. You have to wait for one of them to die and hopefully try and get in line to be doing that. But woodworking is something that I really like doing. I'm actually something I've been doing obviously for a long time. It's something that I like doing. And so when I get the opportunity to just build wood things for myself, it is great to be able to do that. Once, if money weren't an object, I'd probably be building everything out of like rosewood and stuff. Josh Cuesta, what is up, man? Happy Wednesday, brother. But the main thing that I realistically am wildly enjoy these days with building projects would have to be a lot of electrical. That definitely is something that I end up doing a lot of math, and it gets interesting, and it definitely has a lot of ins and outs and things to pay attention to. I have a lot of fun doing that. Drywall, I've hung a lot of drywall in my days, and I don't mind it. It just chews up a lot of time. And it is it's always good to have a helper to do the drywall, because if a guy can be mudding and I can be off doing some other stuff, that works out pretty well. But yeah, I am pretty well versed. Roofing, I don't do. I do not. I would like repair someone's roof. I know how to do it. I'm just not a speed demon when it comes to roofing, so I just don't. So I'm trying to think of any other aspects. Flooring, I don't normally do flooring except for tile work. I like doing tile work. I love doing that kind of stuff. But any recommendation that I would give to anybody out there that wants to learn how to do any of this stuff, get out there and do it. Do it at your own house. Try it. Do that stuff. You'll probably enjoy it, honestly. If you like working with your hands or whatever, even if you don't like working with your hands, it's a good workout, and it's definitely a feeling of accomplishment to do this kind of stuff. It's one of the big things that I love about building stuff. You get an opportunity to start out with something that's screwed up and end up with something that is an actual finished product. Like in Office Space with the TPS report and putting a cover sheet on the TPS report, those guys never felt like they ever finished anything. You know what I'm saying? That would probably be the biggest reward. Like, when you're done building something, it's all finished up, and it looks wildly different than it did before, and you can just take a little before and after picture and just kind of blow your own socks off. Crispy Aquascape, what up? No, I have not opened the box yet, but it is here, and we're going to be getting to that, to the opening of the box. But it's good that you showed up, and I was kind of waiting and talking about all sorts of nonsense while I was waiting for you to get here. We're going to be opening this shortly. And look, I will say that I did a custom bang-up job covering up our addresses so no one sends us their, mail stuff. You know what I mean? Inappropriate things in the mail, uncool. Unsolicited, inappropriate things in the mail, not cool. Totally not cool. Javier Telnetpa. Hola, amiga. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo está? Estoy bien aquí. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, I was talking about dirty unmentionables, like in The Big Lebowski. Don't send me your dirty unmentionables. That's deplorable behavior. All right, so before we get to the unboxing, I guess we should save the unboxing till the end. Right? The suspense. We got to build the suspense, right? But anyhow, I wanted to talk about the water quality issues in the house here that we were trying to figure out, because we have I have done a few tests now, and so first and foremost, let's say that the suspense continues because it is still a mystery what is exactly going on with the water here. Nitrates, 0. Nitrites, 0. Iron, 0. pH, 6.8. Let's run through the gambit here. What else am I forgetting? Copper, negligible. Hardness, nominal. So, what else? Copper was nothing. Iron did not get a reading. So, I've got a problem, and I don't even know what it is. So, I'm going to have to move down the line and start getting into some of the weird testing is realistically what I'm going to have to get to. The suspense is killing me. What's wrong with the water? Now, here's the thing. There's no weird smells with the water. All right? So, there's no sulfites in there. Because there isn't any kind of smell to the water. And then what else is escaping my mind? Dwayne is saying, could it be heavy metals? Well, it's not copper and it's not iron. If there's mercury in the water, I got a bigger problem than trying to keep some fish alive. You know what I'm saying? So if it is any like real untestable thing that is going on with the water, it may be human error of something that's going on here. I've tested the water out of the tanks. Obviously, the ammonia was high that everything had died in. That tank, everything had died in, and then Vicky had just, basically done a water burial for everyone there. And tested the water, and obviously ammonia was high. There's dead fish in there. So that didn't really give me a clue into what was going on. And the water coming out of the tap here is doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I'm going to have to keep testing down the line to try and figure out exactly what is going on. And that is very irritating. Or it was just human error. So hopefully it was human error, and somehow... And we won't be having any problems coming forward. TDS results from my tap water. Corey brings up a good point with that. The TDS meter was reading about 28, which is just pretty much not that much. That's really not anything going on, and that's pretty typical for this time of year anyhow, from having tested so many times in Seattle. Mainly, the watershed is super full right now, so TDS shouldn't be crazy, and it didn't read anything weird. So, I mean, if it was at 200, 300 or something like that, I would have really been concerned, wondering what was ending up in our water. So, yeah, and the parameters are just seeming to be right in line where I would have wanted them to be anyhow, and so that's a bit of an issue. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. And I'm thinking realistically at this point, I think it's probably some kind of human error somehow. Somewhere down the line when we move those placos over, some kind of mysterious thing happened. I'm not sure. We have been moving these tanks around. We've moved a ton of stuff around. And I'm just realistically hoping at this point that maybe something weird happened, and hopefully that may explain it, because I don't have anything really in the water for me to just direct my attention to. So hopefully, if it's human error, I can correct the human error and keep moving forward with what seems to be pretty clean water. There is a bit of a funky taste, but I think that realistically has to do with me having drank Seattle water for such a long time, and this water is just has just a little bit of a different flavor to it. And I'm sure that after drinking it for a little while, I bet Seattle water will start tasting weird to me or something. But Crispy Aquascape was asking, did all my shrimps die? Yeah, all my whole crystal shrimp colony boiled in a bucket. And when I say boiled, I don't mean that they were dead. I mean that they were cooked. A typical, having been a chef for a really long time, I had raw live shrimp. And then the next morning I had cooked shrimp, like for a scampi, or a shrimp cocktail, or ceviche. Dead Boy NYC has showed up. What's up, dude? Who else is here? Melody Monroe. What's up? I'll get to your question in a minute. But the shrimp did all boil. There really was just there was no resuscitating them. It wasn't like, oh man, half of them are dead and what's going on with this bucket? They were boiled. My plants were cooked. I mean, if you've ever made collard greens before, they smelled like collard greens once they were cooked. So there just wasn't a whole lot coming back from that bucket, because most things were dead. A lot of the plants I tried to save in hopes, just fingers crossed, changed the water out, tried to get it, and, a day and a half later, just liquefied. Basically just down to like a kale shake, maybe, only disgusting and smelled like baby diaper. So there just wasn't anything to do at that point other than to clean the bucket out and move on. So I ended up putting all that stuff in my compost, though, so maybe someday the soul of those, or the essence or something from those plants, will be in my garden and grow into a delicious zucchini or something along those lines, which, I look forward to eating those in the future. But yeah, they were all dead, man, and there was nothing to do coming back. Melody Monroe, are all my tanks filled by water off my roof? Are my gutters clean? All my tanks are not currently filled by anything off of my roof. That's going to be an ongoing project. We are currently collecting water from our roof here so that we can, water the chickens and do all that kind of stuff. And that water tested out fine, too. So nothing is really barreling down off of the roof and coming into the water. I drank a bunch of it the other day just to find out if it was okay, and I didn't even have diarrhea, So that gives you an idea. That's probably the best way to explain whether or not water's clean. If you drink dirty water, you will get wicked diarrhea. And I didn't. So generally, I would say it's probably okay. I tested that water coming off the roof, and nothing weird was in that either. It is a new roof, so I wouldn't expect too much to be coming off of it. I would have expected a little bit of rubber sealant and that kind of stuff to be happening at the beginning, but it's a new roof. When I say it's a new roof, it's about 1.5 years old, so it's had probably enough time to kind of rinse all the little bit of weirdness that might have come off. The gutters were recently cleaned, so there wasn't any real leaf debris or anything like that in those. And it's actually a real short run, so it's pretty easy to clean that portion of gutter. It's probably 28 feet long or something like that, and a really accessible spot. So keeping that cleared out and stuff, that'll actually be draining off into the aquaponics. That will be what will be fueling the aquaponics and the pond. That's where the big reason for getting that water collecting together is going to be that whole reason, because that'll be what's replenishing the pond, and then the overflow actually is going to go off into a drain field off the back of the property back here. We have about I'm trying to do math in my head right now, like a putz. We have about a 1,600 square foot lot in the back that is essentially car parking and like what would be RV parking. It's quite sizable. You could park probably. I mean, if you could pull them in there, you could probably park 3 RVs back there. Just to give you an idea of how big the area is, and it actually has 12-inch deep rock is actually what it is. Instead of putting in asphalt, the owners previous to the previous owners that lived here only lived here for about 2 years, and they replaced the windows and did a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff. But that back lot back there had been filled in completely with rock, and that was really kind of the smart move, because it helps move water a lot better in this area with how flat our property is. So that drain field is where the pond and aquaponics runoff is going to end up going to. That drain field is way substantial enough to handle any of that water running off back there. So that'll be way sufficient to handle what we're doing. And then the rainwater will be what replenishes new fresh water into that system. Dwayne Kitchell's asking, any fracking going on near you? I live in Washington State, and I live on the west side of the mountains. There may be fracking going on in eastern Washington. I believe I've seen some over there, but I don't think anyone would get away with fracking over around here, or if it would even do any good. I'm not sure that the soil around here is necessarily geologically correct to even get anything out of the soil here from fracking. Although I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I've never seen anybody fracking over here. And that's what I was talking about when I said the sulfides. There doesn't seem to be any sulfur or sulfides in the water. That's really easy to test. Just a heads up here. Take an old milk jug, like an old milk jug, rinse that out, which is not hard to do. You just rinse it with hot water. Just rinse it out a couple of times. Just make sure it doesn't smell like milk anymore. And then just let it dry. Just set it on the counter and let it dry. Once it's dry, then you can let your water run for about a minute to a minute and a half, just at the tap on, and then fill that jug like halfway full of cold water. And here's the goofy trick. Put the cap on it and shake it for like 30 seconds aggressively. I mean, don't blow the top off the damn thing and throw water all wherever you're at, but shake it. Let it sit for a second. 20 seconds, something like that, just to calm down for a second. Take the top off and give it a big whiff. And if you smell egg farts, if you smell rotten eggs, you got a problem with sulfur. That's the easiest way to test for it. If you don't have a sense of smell, like my uncle, then get somebody who has a sense of smell and have them smell it once you've done all that beginning part I was telling you about. Chloramines tested fine. Chloramines tested out just fine. Chlorine was well within exactly what I would have expected, was 3 parts per million, which is super easy to nullify with the amount of safe that I was using. And what's the other one? Prime? Yes, Prime and safe. Should have been totally good to go. Crispy Aquascape. Damn, should have mentioned that. Your shrimps died before you sent the package. Could have thrown in a few pure red line crystal red shrimps with the plants. Oh, Crispy. Hey, if you're going to send me shrimp, I'm going to send you some money. So I will keep that in mind. And I will hopefully be able to buy some shrimp from you, and get some good looking shrimp from a fellow fish keeper. And the plant package, that's totally cool. If anybody else wants to send me free plants, that's totally cool. I love plants. Don't send me a commodity like your crystal shrimp for free. That's cuckoo. Either way, I would have to send you money for the shipping, because the little bit bigger priority mailbox, I don't know, that costs like $15 or something. I don't know. But either way, we will work that out. I don't have a tank to put them in right now, so it's good that you didn't send them, because I may end up with the exact same basement debacle that I got going on right now with the holding tanks down there, that aren't even I'm not even willing to shoot a video of them. It's depressing. You wouldn't even want to. But we will be getting back to crystal shrimp at some point in time, and I do want to bring a few lines from a few people instead of just doing one large bulk order. So I've arranged. I want to say 2 people, but I've definitely arranged one where I'm going to be able to get a group, and then I'll get a group, and then we'll start breeding and see what we can get coming out of that. Joel Gildot. Another Joel, because I'm one too. Now we outnumber everybody in the room, and we shall defeat all of the foes. Rainwater tastes better than town water. Melody Monroe, your rainwater tastes better than your town water. I don't doubt that. That is very common all around, especially in the middle of the country. I tell you, we were in Kansas, and their water was brutal. Didn't want to move there. Although Wyoming's water was very nice. Idaho's water is very mixed. You go all around Idaho, the water is way weird. Oregon, pretty normal. Very, very close to Washington's water. Wasn't really all that different. California's water is super weird, depending on where you go. Hawaii's water is fantastic. Jealous much? This guy. I'm also jealous of the fact that they have reefs out there. And if Knox ever comes on, my boy Knox lives out there, and that dude can just he can go catch reef fish out his front door. I'm a little jealous of that. Although I don't know that I would necessarily want to be bringing in wild fish, because the quarantine is so long. I like tank raised. The forecast is for Joel's, that's for sure. And speaking of the forecast, it was almost perfect out today, and I have an expectation of perfect weather tomorrow. It was super hot yesterday. A little too hot. 85 is a little too hot for Washington. Today, it got cold. A little too cold. But tomorrow, they're saying it's going to be 74 degrees, which I'm pretty sure is about as perfect as the temperature can really be. Crispy Aquascape was asking, do I like to fish? I do like to fish. I find it enjoyable, though I'm the kind of guy who likes to go where fishing is more like catching, if that makes sense. I like to go to the right place at the right time of year to have a high opportunity. Otherwise, I realistically like to hike to places where people like to fish, if that makes sense, like a mountain lake or whatever, and just go chill out up there and take a look and not have to be completely wrapped up in hoping that I catch something. But this summer, we're actually heading back to Alaska this year. We went to Alaska 2 years ago. We're kind of on the 2-year cycle right now. Vicky's father is building a pig farm up there. And the pigs are having pigs. So we're going to go up there, and we're going to be on the Kenai Peninsula, which is very big with halibut. So hopefully we'll go and pull out some halibut this year. See what we can do with that. It's kind of funny when you go up there with the actual locals who live in Alaska. Fishing for halibut for them is like going to the grocery store or running an errand. You just go... You go out the front door, you load your boat onto the truck, or, you hitch your trailer to the truck, you drive the truck down, launch the boat, get on the boat, you go catch halibut. You catch the halibut super quick, and then you go back and you pull the boat out of the water, you go back and you cut up the halibut and vacuum pack it, put it in the freezer. It's like an errand. You have to do it every day because I believe the locals have a two halibut limit every single day during whatever the super long season is up there. They can go catch halibut. They can go catch 2 halibut and bring them back every single day. So generally speaking, 3 to 4 of where we stay, 3 to 4 people go and catch 6 to 8 halibut. Bring them back, clean them, pack them, and pack the freezers, and just pack the freezers, and just pack the freezers. A lot of salmon too, but not necessarily in the area that they're in, but we're hopefully going to go up and pull down some halibut. We don't have a lot of halibut left in the freezer here, and I would like to fill it back up without paying $600 for a case of halibut, if you know what I'm saying. Striped bass is super fun. But the halibut will be this year's fishing. Other than that, we don't have a bunch of like any other kind of fishing trip this year. We're definitely going to try to get more hiking in this year. We're going out to the Olympic Peninsula this weekend. Maybe yes, maybe no. We talked about that at the beginning of the video. It's sort of up in the air. We might end up just going hiking for one day. We might end up going for the whole weekend. We haven't. Things are schedule-wise are a little bit up in the air right now, so we're just kind of waiting on to figure out what that's all about. The dog friend is in the room. This is Let me see if I can get her. She doesn't like to be picked up, but she's the cutest dog. Come here, Pete. Come here. Oh, brown dog. Oh, sorry about that. She likes to hang out on my lap sometimes. But she doesn't like to be picked up. This is the bitty brown dog. She is a wiener dog, so she doesn't like to be held, if you know what I'm saying. She doesn't like to be held up, probably because her spine is so long, and she's a long wiener dog. But she's a fantastic dog, and you really couldn't ask more out of a dog. This is the sweetest dog. Another Joel super chat. Hey man, thank you very much, dude. I really do appreciate it. With all the disasters that have been going around here, every $2 donation is greatly appreciated. I'm telling you, seriously. Replacing a lot of the stuff that has gone either down the drain or stolen by thieves has been amassing a bit of stress around here, and we've definitely been losing sleep. And thank you, Joel. I really do appreciate it, man. I will try to, Crispy, I will try to GoPro some of that stuff. It is very difficult up in Alaska to when we're up there, it's really difficult to really like coordinate that kind of stuff because we have a lot of family and a lot of stuff up there. And one thing I will tell you, Alaskans do not like to be videotaped if you have not alerted them ahead of time. It's just the nature of Alaska. There are a lot of people up there that do not want you to videotape them for whatever their personal reasons are. I'll be telling you. I'll be telling you something. They're not exactly the kind of people that necessarily you just really want to cross the line with. Melody Monroe, you had 2 days of 116 in Queensland. I'm sorry for that. But growing up, I used to spend all my summers in Eastern Washington, and 116 degrees Fahrenheit is not rare over there. Let me tell you that. It is high plains desert. The state of Washington is a crazy place. Realistically, we have rainforest, we have mountains, we have standard issue forest. We have high plains desert. We have pretty much like every ecosystem you can think about in this in the state of Washington. So it's a little bit crazy. It's a little bit crazy. Aquarium Co-op, thank you very much for your donation. It's much appreciated. We're almost getting to that point where I got to get to this unboxing. But it's $2 New Zealand. I could buy an apple with that. But let me tell you something. I probably will buy an apple with that. I got some red pears the other day. Amazing. And being a kid that grew up in Washington and spent a lot of time apple farming in Eastern Washington during my summers, I love stone fruit, all of them. They're all my jam. You know what I'm saying? I'm totally into it. Stone fruit is something that I probably pack in my lunch quite a bit, whether it be apples or pears or any of that. Jazz will definitely be in there. Favorite apple? Gotta think. There's too many, but I don't like Red Delicious. That's the one I don't like. I don't like Red Delicious. It tastes like cardboard to me. Probably because there's something wrong with me. I don't know. People seem to love those ones. Dead Boy NYC used to work on the slime line in Egegik. I don't know how to say half the names up there. I miss Alaska, but not the work. Yeah, slime line is not something that I would like to do. That's monotonous madness. I would not sign up for cannery or the slime line. Those are the two things that I just wouldn't do. I might work a fishing boat sometime, but now that there's no more derby, it seems ludicrous to go up there and actually work on a fishing boat if there's no derby anymore. Because the derby was the whole reason it was worthwhile to possibly lose your arm or your life. Because you used to be able to go up there and work like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and make $70,000. You know what I'm saying? Used to be, a lot of those guys I know and knew, it was the whole reason that they did it. One guy came back with a $140,000 check one year, and I'm pretty sure he's dead now because of drugs and alcohol. A lot of those guys are mixed up in that kind of nonsense a bit. It's a little crazy, but I wouldn't go up there for what they pay now. You know, now you go up for 4 months and make 20, and you come back with a $25,000 or a $40,000 check. You can just work in town for that kind of money. Just get a good gig going here, and you can make that kind of scratch for sure. There was a variety called Jazz a while back that were amazing. They still have those. They still grow those, and they sell them here. I'm trying to think of what my favorite one was, and escaped my mind. But let's not talk about apples too much. You know what I'm saying? Although I was at the Treetop Factory in Kashmir 2 weekends ago. But if you end up in Kashmir, Washington, I'm going to tell you, I posted this on Facebook. Stop by Rusty's Drive-In. That is my favorite burger shack joint in the whole world. Rusty's, Kashmir, right by the Treetop, and the Applets and Cotlets plant. In the Applets and Cotlets plant, you can go in it, they give you a tour, and they give you Applets and Cotlets, so you get candy and a tour. Pretty dope. But now is the time. Boop, 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 boop. We got to open this sucker. And, of course, I've got a blade here. I already angrily opened it earlier. Ha-cha. A choo-choo. I didn't even open this ahead of time, so you guys are right here with me. Oh, priority box. Suck it. Luckily, I have a holding tank set up down there that should be good to hold all these plants in the meantime while we work on getting the 240 set up. And I hear a Victoria somewhere. I don't know. I heard her. I can hear her with my ears. It doesn't appear to be ticking. Oh man, we got no labels. There we go. We got some rhizomes there. That looks like a trident Java fern, which is dope because all mine died. This is a moss. And it looks like Phoenix moss or Christmas moss. I'm thinking it's either Christmas moss or Phoenix moss. One or the other. Hard to tell what moss is going down. Oh man, we got pine cones.
Pine cones.
Alder cones? Alder cones.
Alder cones.
Alder cones. Vicky agrees. She's not in frame very well. Look at her.
No.
She likes to get her neck in the shot. And the Las Vegas area, which is very important. It's very important. And we got some Bucephalandras. Oh, and a...
Ooh, what's that little guy?
And a little white Anubias, it looks like. What is that?
Ooh.
Is that a white Anubias or a Repens? I do not know. But those are definitely some nice purple Bucephalandras. Got some really good color to them, which will replace mine that died. I was hoping it was filled with springy snakes, but that wouldn't help. But definitely thank you for the alder cones. Thank you for the plants. Crispy Aquascape. I don't know if Crispy does videos or not. Oh, what is this down here? What is this little guy in with the trident fern? Okay, I don't know what... I'm trying to think of what that is. It's stuck to a little bit of substrate, and it's somewhere in my mind. But, nice, and I will propagate. So this will... thank you very much. It's very appreciated.
Thank you, Crispy.
Not only does it cost money to mail it over here. Oh, wait, there's a secret note in here. Oh, I didn't see the secret note. I better read it ahead of time, right? It might say something suspicious in here. What's up, Corvus? I got you some Phoenix mosses, Bucephalandra, Trident Fern, 2 small portions of Mini Pellia. That's the one I couldn't get, Mini Pellia. And I lost my spot where I was reading. And some alder cones. These portions probably don't mean much in those big-ass tanks, but I hope these may expand your plant selection. I've been working on an immerse setup with some Anubias Stardust and Anubias Snow White. And there's one Anubias Stardust along with the booses. So it's Anubias Stardust. Can't wait to see them tanks up again. Chris from Crispy Aquascapes. That is amazing, and I'm super appreciative, dude. Seriously, I don't know. Well, Chris is like an asexual name, isn't it? I think it makes it difficult. But this looks like a dude's handwriting. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it doesn't look like a lady's handwriting, if you know. So hopefully, thanks, dude, is appropriate. I don't know, but either way, we'll keep it gender neutral, right? And just say thank you very much. I very much appreciate it, everyone. Honestly, I don't know if Crispy Aquascape uploads videos, but if not, still subscribe. Anyhow, it's free. It costs nothing. And yeah, either way. But I super appreciate it. I know I have big tanks and I have a lot of space. I have a lot of space in these big tanks, but every little bit counts, and propagation is the key anyhow. There's no way I'm going to go out and be able to buy enough plants to just gadoosh fill up them tanks. I don't have the budget to do it. And I've always thought, for me, I really like to propagate myself because I like doing it. Sometimes I have bought some really big plant packages. I've gotten some really big stuff. And I think just my own experience makes me feel a little bit defeated. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, oh, well, now they're in there. Now I'm done. Whereas propagation for me really gives me an opportunity to do the activity that I really like to do. Crispy Aquascape, lol. If you would watch one of my videos, I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna. Let's go to YouTube and turn the sound off so I don't do anything weird. Oh, YouTube says I'm live now. I know how to spell. I'm good at spelling. Oh, 28 videos. Autoplay. Apparently I wasn't subscribed, but I subscribed now, and I did it while you all was watching. Oh, that's pretty dope. I really like that. Okay. How often do you upload videos? That's the question. 3 days ago, 6 days ago, 1 week ago, 5 months ago. Look at that gap. That's a long gap, but it looks like you're back in the game. So I will definitely be trying to keep up. I would love to be able to just watch everybody's videos all the time. I just realistically am just so much of a time crunch on a regular basis. There are certain days where I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to get half of the stuff done, and it just doesn't necessarily leave me a lot of time to watch videos like I used to have opportunity to do that. But being so busy now, I just don't have a ton of time to watch a lot of videos, but I will try to watch yours as much as I can. Let me see what this little update was from. That's a minute 19. I got time to watch that for sure. Actually, there's a dope tank with the. You got dope crystal shrimp and a bunch of dragonstone and moss. Actually, that's a dope scape. I will tell you, that is cool. I like that. Yeah. So for sure subscribe, because why not? That is a great looking tank. I wonder how that grew in. Let's see. I wonder if it updated that one. I can't play your audio on here, so I can't hear if you play death metal or do some talking. Plant spotlight. Oh, okay. Let's check that out. That seems to. And I wonder if that's the same tank, but later on. Let's take a look. It's like literally like, hey, check out this live stream while I watch videos on YouTube. Oh yeah, I think that is that tank later. Oh, maybe it's not. What do I know? I'm just some guy. With internet access. Yeah, okay, so I'm watching the Bucephalandra video right here. Actually, that's really good quality, man. That looks like a great tank. And you got Auto Stinkless showing up. Perfect. Love them guys. I don't know if you guys remember when I had my huge Auto Stinkless colony school. Yeah, there we go. That's the word I'm looking for. We had a huge Auto Stinkless school going for a long time. I really dig those guys. I'm probably looking to get some of the Zebra Auto Stinkless at some point in time, and the Wet Spot in Portland carries them all the time. So hopefully they'll have a couple when I'm down there, and I'll see. Every time I find those little buggers, well, they're bigger than the small. They're smaller. All right. They're smaller than me, so I'm saying that they're little, but they're bigger than the regular ones, okay? Almost every time that I find them, most people have only had them for a couple of days, and I like to err on the side of caution if stuff has just come in, especially with Auto Stinkless. If you've ever seen how wild Auto Stinkless are farmed, that is more often than not why they die, because typically they go upstream and poison the water to slow them down, and they'll end up pooling up in a estuary. Oh, man. This is some big words, guy. They'll pool up in an estuary and the guys go out and net them because otherwise they're too fast to net, which is just sad. It's just a sad way to do anything, and that's why their survival rate is so low. When you get down to it, that's why their survival rate is so low. When they've been shipped, they ship them, dunk them in some water, then disperse them out to people, and that's why they generally don't live very long because they've been shocked by the toxin. So if you can, first of all, if you find somebody who is breeding Otocinclus in their tank, just shake their hand for sure, because that is no simple feat. Secondly, make sure that they've at least had them for a good amount of time, like 2 weeks, somewhere around there. If they've only had them for like 2 days or 3 days or something like that, I typically won't get them, just because they have a tendency to die off. They're just a really, really gentle little buggers. And I got this crispy aquascape Bucephalandra video going on over here, and he's got a probe. He's probing around in his tank. I like that. That is a good. I like probing around in my videos too, you know what I'm saying? But we got about 5 minutes before the hour mark, and that is where I'm going to be kicking off because you know that pizza I talked about earlier? It's probably on its way. There's probably a dude with a heated box bringing a pizza over here. I know it's not necessarily on my diet, but I don't necessarily have a diet. So it's going to be pretty good when the pizza gets here. I'm going to eat it. It's been a long day, and all I had to eat was a turkey sandwich this morning. And I'm getting pretty voracious and starting to get weird. One thing that I wanted to talk about that happened this morning, because I don't seem to have any questions up here on the in the live chat. I don't have any questions in the live chat. There's something that I wanted to mention, that a mouse has entered the fish room. Well, not the fish room, actually the shop portion of the outbuilding here. Saw a mouse, or possibly a small rat, this morning, and the unfortunate side of it is once one of them has already gotten in, there's really only one option, and that's to exterminate. I'm not poisoning or going along anything along those route, so I set some traps, and we'll see. Hopefully, I can humanely murder the little buggers and make sure that doesn't get out of control. The outbuilding here was built in 1924. To be honest, you opened the box before the live stream. No, I did not. I opened it during the live stream. Over right here, man. We opened it up on the live stream. This video will process, and you can watch it again. I did not open it ahead of time. Honestly, did not. It doesn't feel like an unboxing if I unbox it and then tape it back up and do all that kind of weirdness. We actually opened it here, and lovely plants. I'm super excited, and I found your note after the fact because maybe I opened it upside down, but got your note, and that is super cool, and I'm probably going to save that because I'm the kind of guy who would save a thing like that. But that mouse, unfortunately, or rat, whatever it was, is gonna have to be murdered because once they know that this is a place that they can get into, it is super, super, super almost impossible to keep them out. There is, that, like I was saying, that building is almost 100 years old, so there are a few points of entrance into the building that escaped my diligence at this point. So I'm going to have to go through and shore all those up before I really do a whole bunch more stuff out there to make sure that I don't get any rodents in there. Just going to find the time to make it happen. One of the reasons I do the live stream this late is because I can't do work in the shop right now and encounter the noise ordinance violation in Washington State, RCW blah, 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 blah. In Washington State, the noise ordinance violation is not, and I repeat, not a ticket. It is a gross misdemeanor. And just to give you a little bit of a backstory on this character right here, I have two noise ordinance violations already on my record, and the problem with those being not like a parking ticket or like a speeding ticket or something like that, where you have to just pay a certain amount of money. Everyone thinks it's like that, but it's not. It's a crime. Unbelievable. You have to appear in front of a judge, and they decide whether or not you could be locked up in a cage for a certain amount of time, which is absurd. But it is fact here, and some of you out there might be able to get away with making noise after like 9 o'clock or 8:30. I do not, because I do not want to be locked up in a cage for having made noise. Some of you out there don't have any noise ordinance violations. You might be able to get away with it. But if they come here and read my licencia and look up my record, we will have problems. And I do not want to get locked up in a cage for any reason, let alone something goofy like making noise late. So, having the commute, having the work, all that stuff, it's a 12, 14-hour day to get the work done that I do, and then I get home, and then, which is why I do the live streams in the evening. Sometimes I do them in the morning if I happen to have time, and maybe a late start somewhere gives me the opportunity to do one in the morning and whatnot, but that's why I do them at night, because I can't be out working the shop right now, and I don't trust myself to not fire off my nail gun or run my saw or whatever, and I don't have... So the building out there has no insulation in it, and it's not really sealed up, so it will realistically... be like I was just shooting it outside. At some point when we finish out those walls, we finish out the walls and the building and stuff out there with insulation and everything, I might be able to get away with it, but I doubt that I would risk it. I really doubt that I would risk it. But here, on the upside of having to murder these mice or rats, when I say humanely, I got traps. Hopefully there won't be any wounded. There won't be any wounded mice. But the reason why I say it's a little bit humane, I don't throw them in the garbage. Here's what will creep out some people. They get fed to the chickens. And if y'all think chickens don't eat mice or rats, y'all fooling yourself. They will eat those, so... I feel like this is kind of the trade-off, that the chickens will end up eating it, and it won't go to waste. It won't be something that this poor mouse or rat or anything is going to be like thrown in the garbage and just stuffed in a landfill or whatever. It'll actually go to living creatures that will be fed. Rututu M is 88 years old. That is awesome. Well, Joel's saying he's 73 in a 40-year-old's body. But if you got a 40-year-old's body, you get to use it like a 40-year-old. Is there pizza?
There is pizza.
Vicky says there's pizza. Time to sign off, you guys, because pizza is here. As you all know, I would love to just be able to broadcast all night long, till the break of dawn, till the early morn. Gonna get it on. But I need to eat pizza, so that's going to be it for today. But that's what's going on today. Hopefully, I'll have some good news tomorrow. Some things are coming in the mail for Friday, and then I got to get these plants right here put into some water. So first and foremost, thanks to Crispy Aquascape, Joel Gillott. I hope I say your name right. Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Dwayne Kitchell, Deadboy NYC, Matthew Waybright, first commenter tonight. Gotta look through here and say Ruru2. I was saying Rututu, it's Ruru2. I figured out how to read. 88 years old. That is awesome. Dwayne Kitchell for sure. We gotta run through the list here. We gotta run through Tai Hang. Hey, thanks for coming out always. Melody Monroe for sure. Desiree Hinkle. And Josh Cuesta, Chris Dorari, and Xavier Telnetpa. Oh, maybe I got it right that time. Who knows? But anybody I missed, hey, thanks for coming out. Have a great night, everybody. Get some sleep, you guys. It's late here. It's got to be late everywhere, right? Or the other side of the planet. All right. Where's the button? Does anybody know where the button is? All right. Blood.